Chair recognizes the representative from Johnson, Representative Levin.
Thank you. I see there's been a change in chairmanship since I put my light on. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, colleagues of the House. A few thoughts to share on this one. I am very proud, as you might have noticed, of my home. I am very proud to have made Iowa my home. It is a decision I did not take lightly because when I moved to Iowa as a kid who grew up in Illinois, I was embarrassed to tell people I was coming here because I didn't know anything about Iowa except corn and, to be fair, Field of Dreams, which I loved. So when I came here and attended a private college where I did not benefit from the Iowa tuition grant because I was an out-of-state student, I really was impressed and surprised, and I fell in love. And so when we make it harder for students to make this place their home, when we make it harder for communities to embrace those who come and join us and become Iowans, wow, people are just fleeing for the doors. It's fascinating. It really breaks my heart. When we make it harder for Iowans to achieve their potential here in Iowa, it breaks my heart. I want to start by taking some information from the Society for Human Resource Management. I'm trying to stay very level-headed. I'm trying to stay very nonpartisan on this particular idea because this is a charged topic, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It means different things to different people, clearly. We've heard a lot of different definitions in here today. And so one of the groups that have been kind of talking my ear off about their concerns about all of these attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion is human resources professionals, folks whose job is making sure that jobs run smoothly, that people are successful and supported at work, and that colleagues are able to move along and get along together, so that everyone who is qualified and everyone who has the aptitude can work in their chosen field. And some of the demographic data that SHRM, the Society for Human Resources Managers, recommends be included in considerations for diversity, equity, and inclusion are age, disability, ethnicity or national origin, family status, gender identity or expression, generation, language, life experiences, organization function and level, again, this is coming from the business world, personality type, physical characteristics, race, religion, belief, and spirituality, sexual orientation, learning style, and veteran status. So when those of us who are voicing concerns say that we have concerns about all of these things, this is why. Putting a definition that conflicts with a definition elsewhere in code into each bill that's different from the one we just talked about in the previous or two ago bill doesn't change the fact that the real world has to interact with the laws we make in this place. And so if the real world includes all of these things in the definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, if the business community includes all of these things in the definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, if the educational world includes all of these things in the definition, then it seems salient to consider all of these things when we consider limiting access to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Particularly, I am personally concerned about the impacts of this bill on local civil and human rights commissions. I want to talk a little bit about the duties of the Iowa City Human Rights Commission. Their duties include disseminating information to educate the public on illegal discrimination and civil rights, such as organizing and facilitating educational public forums that address one or more of the broad range of topics included within the rubric of human rights. They are responsible for, the duties also include making recommendations to the City Council for further legislation concerning discrimination if it's deemed necessary and desirable. They are responsible for cooperating within the limits of any appropriations made for the Human Rights Commission's operation with other agencies, other organizations, both public and private, whose purposes are not inconsistent with those of the Human Rights Ordinance within my city. And their duties include planning programs and activities designed to eliminate racial, religious, cultural, and other intergroup tensions, including but not limited to sex, color, creed, disability, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital status, age, and national origin. One of our other illustrious civil rights commissions in the state has as its charge to receive and investigate discrimination complaints, formulate a comprehensive education program to eliminate discrimination, and recommend ways to discourage prejudice. All of these things sound pretty close to in line with what are the stated goals of this body. But as we've already discussed, the bill has an unwieldy definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion that literally uses the word opinion and any related formulation of these concepts. So the bill explicitly includes human rights commissions and civil rights commissions. These commissions have staff who are assigned to support their work. Those staff require funds. This bill eliminates those staff. There are many reasons to be concerned with the implementation of this bill. I only choose to highlight this one. But I do think it's important when talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion to all be on the same page, all be on the same definition. Putting a different definition in every bill on the topic doesn't change what we're talking about. We're talking about people's ability to be treated equitably and to be included regardless of what makes us different. I would appreciate your consideration of a no vote on this bill.